Hey guys, Captain Jeff, CJS Knives here. I got the blade fairly done, and the only thing that's left to do is to sharpen the edges a little bit. It is really sharp right now, and I'll do that after I put the handles on. So these are the handles I'm going to use. It's the G10 micarta. I showed you those already in a previous video. Here's one slabbed out, and this one actually is on eBay right now. Cut out about 3 or 4 handles, so 2 pairs of these each. This is 1 inch, and they come in 5 inches long, so 1 inch by 5 inches. I don't need that much. I only need about 4 inches for the Ironclad, maybe a little bit less than that. But this is how I cut them out. So I got one here. That's what I'm going to start with. I'm going to start off with one. I'm going to glue that to one side, and then I'll flip it over, drill holes, glue the other side, and then insert my pins. That's the process I go over with entering handles that have pins in it. I prefer to do it. So the first thing to do is to tape off the blade. I got my electrical tape here. I'm going to put some tape on the blade real quick. Okay, I do that to ensure that I won't cut myself, and also that no glue gets on the blade itself. This glue that I'm using, 2-part epoxy, is a pain in the butt to get off of the metal once it's dried. So I glue the blade up that way that there's no chance of getting glue on the blade. So the next step is to, you see how shiny this blade is. I buff and sand the whole blade, and so I need to get this blade a little bit dull. So I'll take my 150 grit sandpaper and go over the blade and sand that down, get that shine off there a little bit. That way the glue will adhere to it a little bit better. So do that real quick. Okay, I don't know if you can tell or not, but this side is still not been sanded, and this side has been sanded. So another trick I like to give you guys is I'm using a 2-part epoxy, and the trick to get that to mix well and to be able to work well is to get it warm. So I got it by my heater. I have an electric heater, and that is warming up. So I'm going to get that real quick. Okay, especially in cold weather like it is right now, have to heat up the 2-part epoxy to get it to work right. If it's cold, it just doesn't mix quite correctly. So I'm going to get my clamps set up here. I just use some simple tool shop Menards special 1-inch spring clamps. I'm going to mark the blade where I want my handle to be, and that's usually 3 1/4 of an inch. So roughly right about there is where I want my handle. I want to put an angle on this handle. This is actually the top, this is the bottom. Angle the handle so when it sits on the blade, it'll sit straight. Alright, so I got my blade scratched up. I got the back of the G10 scratched up. This is the front side, the back side. And I got the angle on there. It's a 5-degree angle. That's going to line up with my mark here. And it'll go something like that. So, let's go ahead and mix up some glue. I use these popsicle sticks I got from the hobby store. And it was like $1 for 500 of them or something. Crazy number like that. So I highly suggest you pick up some popsicle sticks. They're excellent for mixing up glue. So it's 2-part epoxy. Probably way more than I need. You see how runny it is, and that's from heating it up, getting it warm, not hot, just warm in front of the heater. I want to mix this up until it's nice creamy color. This is the 5-minute epoxy, so I don't have much time. So I'll take my handle, make sure I'm on the back side, just start applying the epoxy. And like I said, I got way too much on here. That's alright. On this side, on the first side, I just want a light coat of epoxy. Set it down where I want it. Put on a spring clamp. Flip it over, line it up. Put one more in the center. Sorry if that was out of focus or out of frame, but I don't have much time to mess with this stuff. So just want to make sure that the handle material is covering the actual blade itself, the handle. And I have to clamp it at 3 points from back and middle, obviously. And I think that does very, very well. These spring clamps are pretty tight. The reason I don't want to put too much epoxy on the first side is that I don't want the glue to come up through this hole and glue my clamp to the handle, to the blade. And as you can see, I'm glad I taped out the blade. I got a little bit of glue on the blade itself from my fingers. So now, next part before this dries, I'm talking too much, get some mineral spirits, find a rag, and it's best to clean up the blade, clean up your hands, clean up anywhere you do not want epoxy before it's fully hardened. And I'll go right in front where the handle and the blade meet, and I want to take off that excess glue that's squeezed out of the front there. I try to get as little as possible, squeeze out the front. There's always just a little bit. And if you catch it before it dries, it'll come off really easy, and it'll save you some troubles in the long run. Oops, sorry about that. I don't know how well you can tell, but epoxy is gone. Also, I'm going to do the same thing on my hands too. You see how it's already starting to turn black on my hands, my fingers. Just use the epoxy. Use the mineral spirits to get the epoxy off your hands, and that way it'll keep it from turning black on you. If you do this before it dries, before it sets, it'll come right off. And if you wait till it's already dried, so your fingers have already turned black, there's no turning back. There's no way you're getting that off your hands. You're just going to have to let it wear off, and that may take a couple of days. Alright, so we got our handle glued on, and we got the location we want it, so we're going to let this sit overnight. I'll come back tomorrow, I'll drill my holes, and then I'll glue the other slab on, and then come back on this side, drill the holes, insert my pin, and then I'll be good to go. So that's handle number 1 on the camo Ironclad. So look out for this one, guys. It's going to look really awesome. Keep your eyes out for it. Thanks a lot for watching. As always, subscribe, leave a comment. Any tips or tricks, leave it in the comment section below. Thanks, guys.